We are going to show you some fantastic iOS updates for iOS 14.
Then I'm going to show you why driving poorly in a parking lot is a lot of fun.
Before I round things out with a way to understand what Apple Watch bands are available.
It's time for iOS Today. iOS Today comes to you from TWiT's LastPass Studios. You're focused on security, but are your employees? LastPass can ensure they are by making access and authentication seamless. Whether employees are working in the office or remotely, visit lastpass.com/twit to learn more.
Podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
This episode of iOS Today is brought to you by Casper. From award-winning mattresses to pillows, sheets, and duvets, Casper transforms the way we sleep, one snooze at a time. Go to casper.com/iOS Today and use the code iOS Today for $100 off select mattresses. And by ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is an app that reroutes your internet connection through their secure servers, so your ISP can't see the sites you visit. For 3 extra months free with a 1-year package, go to expressvpn.com/iOS Today. And by Molecule. Molecule is reimagining the future of clean air, starting with the air purifier. It's not just an innovation on existing technology, but a scientific breakthrough in air purification. For 10% off your first purifier order, visit molecule.com and enter the code iOS. Hello, Mikah Sargent.
Hello, Leo Laporte.
It is time for iOS Today, the show where we cover iOS, watchOS, tvOS, and iPadOS, and CarPlay.
And CarPlay and HomePodOS, technically. There are lots of OS.
Apple messed with us because it used to just be iOS. Now
they separated it.
And they're really the same. The same.
All built on the same sort of platform of iOS. So,
but today we actually are going to talk a lot about iOS 14 and how iOS 14 may change some of your most beloved apps for the better.
Yes, because it's sometimes apps change and you have a little bit of frustration about it. But the thing that I've been seeing with these updates is it's just adding new things that you can get to if you want them, but the apps themselves aren't suffering, so to speak, from a lot of change, which I think is a good thing as we, as folks are updating to iOS 14 and going, there's so much that's new. It's kind of nice to not have the basic structure or the basic function of your app change. It just adds kind of a little mini app. Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, Lisa, who I use as my kind of example of a normal human being, just patently not true.
So I use my partner for it too.
Yeah. Said to me, what's new in iOS 14? And after I said widgets and Scribble, I kind of was done.
Yeah.
But there really is a ton new. Actually, one of the things she likes the most is the new messages and the ability to pin people to the top of your message and things like that. So as you kind of use iOS 14, I think more and more really kind of nice but subtle improvements appear. And we've certainly covered that in the past. And what's great is now here we are 2 weeks into the iOS 14 era. A lot of apps are finally updating. Last week we showed you apps that have widgets. There were even more released this week that have custom widgets for iOS 14. That's making widgets really, really fun, I have to say.
Yeah, because I think, too, as folks are starting to understand, and by folks I mean developers, are starting to understand how people are using widgets and using their widgets, it leads to improvements. And so you may, if you watched last week's episode, some of these you may have heard of, but the apps continue to improve and iterate upon their current set of widgets to make it even better, which I think is fantastic.
It's probably a good idea, in fact, to, every once in a while, I do this almost every day now, open your widgets and start to browse through. And not, I don't know what the rules are for getting featured at the top where you actually have a widget feature compared to getting in this this list, but you notice this list is getting longer and longer. Look, SoundHound has added a widget, which is going to be great because that's what you tap when you want to say, what's this song that's playing right now? Kind of Shazam is the one Apple bought. There's a program that I really like a lot for Twitter called Aviary. This is my new, in fact, I might make it my app cap next week. I want to give it a little more time, but this is a $4 program that is a kind of a better Twitter than Twitter and has some really nice tweet widgets, which is very handy. I'll start with to-do lists because I'm a big to-doer. You know what I'm saying? And, I generally
You really
work
are,
with, I'm a to-doer because I never get anything done. Typical of people like me who procrastinate heavily, we spend a lot more time on the tools to get things done than actually getting things done. You see what I'm saying? It makes us feel like we're getting something done.
Could we do a quick thing? Pretend I don't know how to launch that page that you're showing me.
Oh,
How does someone get to widgets?
How would someone? So this is one thing I noticed early on. Used to press any icon to get to jiggle mode, right? But I've noticed with iOS 14, they've made a fast jiggle mode. If you press in an empty space, just for a second, jiggle mode enables. And then
it's super fast.
And then up in the upper right-hand corner, I think this is true on both. Let me see. I have to do it on the phone as well, just to make sure. Yep, it's the upper right-hand corner. You'll see a plus sign, and that's where you can search for widgets. There aren't enough yet to do any searching, right? But you can search for widgets, or you can just do what I just showed you, which is displayed widgets. And actually, you should definitely do it independently on the iPad OS and the phone OS because, as you could see, it's a very different collection. So you definitely want to check both to make sure that your favorite app has a widget. I'm going to show you a couple of to-do things. AnyDo, which is my preferred to-do list, has some nice widgets now that make it very easy. You kind of want to put your widgets on your to-dos on a widget, right? Because you want to see them.
Yeah, it's so nice. It's sort of like having a little sticky note on your screen that you can, I've got to do that today.
There's the obvious ones where you just put the list. This one's kind of fun. It's a bar graph of your progress. 14 done, 26% left. I don't have that many things to do, so it's not that interesting of a graph on mine. This is actually great. Add task. Widgets, a little disappointing, I think, on iOS because you have to, they're not live, right? So you can't add a task, as you can in Android, you can add a task in the widget. So this really, when it says add task, is just another button to the app. It's an app button. So I think that's, it's up to you whether you want to put those on your screen. That's instead of having the icon for AnyDo, that's a very big icon, basically. Next event, that's nice because AnyDo ties with your calendar. Of course, there are plenty of calendar things that have it. And then the other to-do program I want to show you, I don't use it on a regular basis, but a lot of people do, and it has added a lot of iOS support, iPad OS support in particular. This is just the quick introductory tutorial. But they've added Scribble support, which is really nice. So now when you're adding something, you can actually scribble it, which I forgot my pencil, so I'm not going to do. But I could scribble with my finger, but I shouldn't probably. It's too small a space. But they've added Scribble. They've added widgets. This is the whole point, I guess, of what we're going to talk about. Is a lot of these apps took a while, but now are doing all sorts of things to support iOS 14. And I think it's worth kind of checking. So whatever to-do list you use, almost all of them now have added widgets and support for some nice iOS 14 features. And the other one that's a little bit more subtle, but you might notice it if you're a regular things user, is the iOS look and feel. You're going to want an app that has adapted to the look and feel of iOS. And this is a little more subtle. The icons are different, and the way you type and the editors are different. That's something that's that's an aesthetic thing. It doesn't change the functionality particularly, but that's what a lot of apps are starting to do. Saying, "Oh yeah, we have that iOS 14 look." What do you got?
So the first one I want to talk about, actually, you inspired me because you mentioned Scribble and you mentioned Widget. What if I wanted to do both?
A Scribble widget?
What if I wanted
a Scribble widget?
What would you call that? Maybe you'd call it Scribblet. Scribblet is an app that lets you turn your scribbles into widgets. I'm doing the van maneuver here so that I can have my iPad in a proper portrait modes, or rather an easel mode so I can write with it. But let's call this widget, I don't know, home screen widget. And I've chosen a medium widget for this size. I could change the background color to... Oh man, let's keep it white. That's just nice and plain there. I could put a background image if I wanted to. And then last but not least, if I take my Apple Pencil and start to write on the screen, hi.
Hey.
Leo.
Ooh.
And then I choose save. Now I've got that widget there. Oh, I guess I made a small widget. I can tap
a little bitty widget.
A little widget. Access jiggle mode, hit plus, and then I go find Scribblet, which is there, and I choose small widget, and I can drop it right there, tap done, and okay, now after adding to your home screen, long press this widget. There we go. I didn't choose the right one. And then I can choose the widget that I just made, home screen widget. And boom. Hi, Leo. And then, of course, that can be updated as I want to.
So useful.
Yeah. So this, well, but think about this. You can have multiple widgets that you could use like sticky notes.
Yeah.
So I could have a shopping list, and then I could go back into the widget and edit it so that it changes to something else. But also think about artists who do great artwork and want to show their artwork on their home screen. They could draw something up nice and quick and put it on their home screen. And then there's also just the matter that people like things that are aesthetic AF. And so you can set it up however you want to with, nice sketches, including there's an article here that shows a widget that somebody kind of put a funny little... Oh, it reminds me of those text paintings and things that people will hang on their walls, and they're supposed to be
inspirational.
Inspirational.
Yeah, hang in there, baby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it reminds me of. And so there's one here that just says, I'm waiting for it to load here. It's fall, y'all.
It's fall, y'all.
So they've got the very hungry caterpillar that they drew. They've got their list of groceries. They've got a nice Apple-style hello, and then it's fall, y'all.
I suspect people are going to use widgets kind of as decoration. You put a pumpkin on your iPhone screen and stuff.
Flair.
Yeah. This, though, leads me once again to the complaint, Apple, please, that the Apple device that you have the most room for pure decorative widgets is the iPad, and I wish we could put widgets anywhere on the iPad desktop, because then I wouldn't mind having a little pumpkin, because it's such a big screen. I don't want to take up a half of my screen with a pumpkin widget on the iPhone. There's just not enough room to do that. So, but yeah, there are a number of, you mentioned last week you had a sticky note program that has widgets, and there are a number of sticky note programs out now with widgets. So they'll absolutely do that. Hey, I wanted to mention one little thing that fooled me initially.
Okay.
If you have a program that has been updated, or you've downloaded a new program, you must run it before the widgets will show up. So don't assume just because you don't see a widget in the list that it doesn't have widgets. Run the program, then check the widget list, because something about the way Apple does this, until the program is run the first time, the widgets won't show up.
Yes, that's super important. I learned that the hard way as well.
Yeah, it's frustrating. You go, I know there's widgets. What's going on?
What's happening?
Why
Another
not?
one I want
Why
to mention
not?
here.
Yes.
Dark Noise, folks.
Dark Noise
is an app that just does different types of sounds. So it's like sleep sounds and things like that. You can do thunder, lightning, rain, white noise, pink noise, brown noise,
thunder and
gray
lightning,
noise.
very, very frightening me. Dark noise.
And so this actual widget, if I tap on one of them, like rain, and you won't be able to hear this, but it will actually start the heavy rain noise on
I
my
love that.
Yeah, on my iPhone.
See, that's a good use for a widget, because there might be a background noise that it's your go-to background noise.
Yeah, and depending on what I'm doing, if it's time to go to bed, I might use rain. But when I'm working, I want pink noise in the background or something like that. Dark noise has a bunch of different options, including appliances. So if you sleep well with a washing machine running or a vacuum running for some reason, you can play those.
Yeah. I always worried they advise you when you have a newborn to put them in their bouncy seat on the running dryer, because it makes them feel at home. And I never did that because I was afraid that my child would grow up, now she's an adult, and still need a dryer running in the background. Right. Maybe that's why you need a vacuum.
Dependency.
Yeah. She's dependent on the vacuum.
Oh, yeah, that would be kind of bad. So that's dark noise. Another one that we have to, I've got to give this one as much credit as possibly can be given to an app, and that's Fantastical, because I was skeptical that because they were kind of later in the game on updating to add widgets, I was kind of skeptical that I would see a reason to want to use Fantastical after the calendar widget was doing just fine for me. But then Fantastical came and smacked me right in the face with the awesome widgets.
And you use the same one I do, which I really like, which is the heat map. It's the heat map plus appointments. So it shows you how busy your month is going to be, but also has the appointments in there. I really like that one.
So nice. And let me just show so the folks can see how many different, I think there are 9 total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm seeing 7. That. Are you seeing that too? The people who do widgets, and initially, they do 1 or 2, and then they realize I can do lots.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
There are lots of widgets.
Adding them.
Yeah.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
There's one that I want to mention too. I think this is another, this was a brilliant idea for a widget. MusicHarbor is one of my favorite apps for folks who are into specific artists and specific genres and things like that, who want to make sure that they know when their artists are creating new music. MusicHarbor is a place where you go in and you choose the artists that you like, and then it will alert you, hey, Fantagram has a new album out, or it's going to be releasing a new album soon. Rudimental has a new album out. Louis the Child, Ben Rector, Chet Faker, etc.
Are those real people, or are you just making that up?
I promise I'm not not making it up.
I'm so unhip. I feel bad. That's when you know you've kind of gotten on in the world, when you don't recognize the names of currently very popular artists.
Do you know Roofpeck?
No.
I'm gonna send you a song by them that I actually think you would like.
Yeah.
Not right now, but
they
afterwards.
do say that your music. There's a bird on my car. Get off my car! Get off! Nope, it's not gonna move. Can't hear me.
Somehow it can't hear me. It's a fan, Leo.
I parked right out my window and I see a bird. This is frustrating. I see a bird on the car. Oh, good. He hopped off. Maybe he's listening to iOS today.
Must be.
What was I saying? I don't remember. Music. This is what they say, is that your musical tastes freeze at the age. Prepare yourself, Mikah, of 27.
That's my age.
I know. So you better like Roof Wizard or whatever it is.
Roof Wizard. I love Roof Wizard.
Because you're going to be living with Roof Wizard for the next 50, 60, maybe, God willing, 70 years. So enjoy.
I need Roof Wizard to be a real
there's a certain truth to that, because what is it? Roof Tickle? What was the name of it?
Rudimental?
Was that the name of the band?
That's
this is another reason why, as you get older, Roofpeck.
Oh, Wolfpack. VULFPECK.
I'm not going to remember that. That's another reason that your musical taste doesn't change after 27. You can't remember any of these names.
Hey, are you playing that Roof Wizard again?
Aloysius, play Roof Wizard.
Turn down that Roof Wizard and turn up the Frank Sinatra.
Do not be knocking old Blue Eyes.
I love old
Actually,
Blue
this
Eyes.
is one of the reasons you and I get along together, because you have the musical tastes of a 60-year-old, which is bizarre. Okay, Roof Scratch, Wolfpack.
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 Yeah. He's kind of German, but I guess German it would be Wolfpack because V is W, but it is not W.
Oh, it's spelled VOLF.
It's spelled VULF.
Could you send me a link?
I did. I sent you a link to the song that I really think that you will like.
Because
I'm not kidding.
I don't think I'm gonna remember that.
You wouldn't like Roof Wizard, I don't think.
Not my band.
Oh, golly. Why don't we take a quick break, actually? Does that work for you?
Yeah, sure. Whatever. Nap time. No, don't nap while you're listening to our show unless you are on a Casper, in which case...
Nap away.
You could be completely, I would understand. Those mattresses, they're so comfortable. I love our Casper so much. I'm embarrassed to admit this. On my days off, I have a choice of couches, easy chairs, comfortable places to read outside in the beautiful weather. But no, I get in bed and read in bed because I have a Casper, the sleep company with outrageously comfortable products at not so outrageous prices, from award-winning mattresses to pillows. Oh, hey, have I talked about my Casper pillow lately? I think so, obsessively. I have a Casper King. That's my body pillow. I wrap myself around that. They have the best sheets, even duvets. And don't forget the Casper Glow Light, which is a great way to go to sleep and wake up. And if you have to make a little trip to the boys' room in the middle of the night, a great little glowy puck you can take with you to light your way. Casper is transforming the way we sleep, one snooze at a time. They have bedding, they have bed frames, even have dog beds. Casper has everything you need to build the bed of your and Fido's dreams. Every Casper mattress designed with a system to react and adapt to your body all night long. No one wants a bed that's like sleeping on the floor. Obviously, why would you get in bed if you like the floor? But nobody wants a hammock either. They want a bed. It seems impossible, seems undoable, that both supports you like a floor would, but gives to the curves and the bumps in your body like a hammock will, and that's Casper. And by the way, do they sleep cool? And I don't care if it's hot summer night or a cold winter night, having a bed that can regulate your temperature is incredible. Caspers have 1,501, I counted them, perforations, creating a cooling system so effective you won't even notice because you'll be so fast asleep. You'll just know, I slept really well last night. What was it? Only Casper mattresses are made with 86, I counted them, 86 supportive gel pods to align your spine and eliminate aches and pains. That's why I don't sleep in a hammock, because you wake up from a hammock, your back is killing you.
Can't even get into a hammock in the first place. I don't understand them. But anyway.
Well, or whatever, anything mushy, you know? You need a little support, but you also need a little give. It's give and it's take. Altogether, it's the cooling, supportive comfort you need for the most refreshing feeling come morning. And by the way, it's not just me. Over 20,000 reviews across Casper, Amazon, and Google. And the average, it's as good as you can get, 4.8 stars out of 5. It's rapidly becoming the internet's favorite mattress. And I love it that you don't have to go to a mattress store where the markup is insane. They literally double the price of the mattress. That's their cut. Eliminate the mattress store. Pooh, you're saving big. And I know you're saying, but Leo, I want to try those 86, count them, supportive gel pods. I want to feel those 1,501 perforations on my butt. I want to know. Well, here's the beauty part. You don't have to go to a store to do it. You couldn't do it in a store. 10 minutes, lights are on, sales girl's going, are you going to get off of the bed? Stop necking. Not allowed. But I got to try it out. No, get off of her. So anyway, that's my life. That's my story. Probably not yours. Casper, they're going to give you 100 nights to sleep on it, completely risk-free. If at any point in the first 100 nights you say, not for me. I want 1,502 perforations or whatever. This never happens. This is why they can do it. You call them up. They come and get it. You don't have to pack it back in that surprisingly compact box it comes in. You can just call them up. They'll come. They'll take it. They'll take it away. They'll refund every penny. So there's no risk. They do that so that you don't feel like, oh, I'm taking my chances. But I can tell you right now, I don't know anybody who's slept on a Casper who's sent it back because it's so great. 0% APR financing options make it very easy to buy a Casper mattress. I just, in the U.S. and Canada, painless returns, free shipping to your door. Don't do as I did. As you can see, I opened the Casper. This was the King in our foyer. Why I didn't bring it to the bedroom, I'll never understand. But but you can easily do that. In fact, when Henry was in college, he, the college dorms, the mattresses there, they've been used.
Terrible.
They've been used a few times.
Yeah.
So I felt bad. I sent him a Casper. The thing is, he could heft it himself up the stairs. It was Casper Twin, obviously. He could heft it up the stairs, lay it out. They have very inexpensive mattresses for college kids or your guest room. They have actually a variety of models. I'm just a big fan of the Caspers. Go to Casper, C-A-S-P-E-R, CASPER.com/iOS today. The code iOS today will get you $100 off select mattresses. Now
Nice.
You're going to sleep better. Yeah. That's iOS today. Don't forget to use that. That way we get credit. Micah and I, who are Casper lovers, will get... That's the Casper lover sound, by the way. That's trademarked.
TMTA.
I say that every night when I get into bed. It's so funny. I'm sure Lisa's so sick of it. I go, oh, it feels so good. So good. Casper.com/iOS today. Use the code iOS today. We get credit. You get $100 off. Terms and conditions apply. See Casper.com/terms. Casper.com/iOS today. Okay, on we go, because we're talking right now about how apps have changed with the iOS 14 era. You got any other examples?
Yeah, I do want to talk about Carrot Weather because it is there's one feature in particular with Carrot Weather that kind of has made it stand out for me.
The snark?
And that is, the snark, yes. No, it is Carrot's, what is it called? Satellite stuff. I can't think of what those are called. Those maps.
Yeah,
weather
the radar.
maps.
Yeah. Or satellite.
Radar. Thank you. Radar was the term I was looking for.
Yeah.
So you can choose. I'll choose Edit Carrot here, and I can choose different types of weather maps that I want. So I can have radar. I can have weather alerts. I can have lightning strikes. I can have all sorts of different stuff.
Wow.
So that's particularly helpful in areas like ours where fire is an issue. It's not just a green is rain coming over the top, or purple is particularly stormy, or anything like that. It is actually showing you the weather and the alerts in the region so that you can kind of see what all is going on. So yeah, look, we've got radar, cloud cover, satellite, storm cells, tropical storms, active alerts, active warnings, lightning strikes, wildfires.
Oh, that's the one we need around here.
Temperature, wind speed, wind direction, etc. I mean, there's so much here, and you can have all of that available. Oh, look at that. That's not fun to see. You can have all of that available in the actual widget so that I could get a quick look of what is happening here. So say, radar, cloud cover, storm cell, etc., lightning strikes and fronts. And you can choose between those and have those pop up there. Zoom level can change. You can have it be a satellite view instead of just a map view. And then you can turn on or off your location marker to see where you are. But basically what I've done is I've used a smart stack to create an all-encompassing weather widget. So I've got my hourly forecast here. I swipe down, I can see my daily forecast, swipe down to see the weather widget, and then from there it goes on to the next thing. So I've got all of this information available in one widget, in one spot, and that's just one swipe away from my home screen. Boom, weather there, and kind of see the outlook for the week. So I think that, like you said, we continue to see developers adding more widgets over time, and I think that is one of the best things that's happened as we continue to see improvements.
Nice.
Yeah. The other thing that we should talk about is that so Apple updated iOS 14 with the ability to do picture-in-picture on iPhone. And that was a way so that, if you FaceTime, you don't have to have the FaceTime call take up the whole thing.
I love that feature so much because, and I hope Mom's not listening. But sometimes when I'm talking to my mom on the phone, after hour number 2, I might do something else, play a game or something. And it used to be, she'd go, "Why is your video paused?"
I think I've heard that before.
You've heard that once or twice?
Yeah.
"Why is your video paused? Are you not paying attention?" But now it doesn't pause.
The video doesn't have to pause.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But yes, thank you, Apple. With that comes the ability to also do picture-in-picture on lots of other things as well.
Like YouTube.
Like YouTube. But Disney Plus, Amazon Prime Video, HBO Max, Twitch, and some other video platforms have added picture-in-picture support, not only on iPad, but also on your iPhone. So that means that, you can, for example, my younger brother is a Twitch streamer, and our sister, she's between us in age, so I'm the oldest. My sister is younger than me, and then my brother that streams is younger than her, and she likes to watch his streaming throughout the day.
Nice.
Whenever she has time.
Running in picture-in-picture. That's nice.
Yeah, and so now she can do other things while she picture-in-pictures. But this
is mostly useful on iPad, I would guess, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't like. Even
Too
on this
small
big
on the
screen, I still think it's kind of small.
Yeah.
But there are times maybe where it's not as important, and like you said, with FaceTime or something like that. But I also wanted to show that Twitch has a new widget that will let you see your schedule for people that you're subscribed to.
I like that. Oh, nice.
Yeah, there's a little guide here that'll show you, later on today.
That YouTube and others watch they all watch what each other does. So when Twitch does something like this, YouTube says, "Hold my beer," and I can do that too. So that's a nice thing. I like to see these kinds of innovations because then others will follow, I hope.
Yeah. And then look, we're live right now. So someone could have a widget to sort of be notified whenever we're live. Ooh, tap right on that, and it'll go straight to the Twitch stream of our live stream.
Love that.
Yeah.
That's nice. We're always live on Twitch, but what the hell?
Yeah, that's true.
So there wouldn't be that much use. But still, do it.
But still, it's there. You've got a shortcut there to get right to it if you need to.
By the way, that was a controversy with YouTube. That you had to have YouTube Premium in the YouTube app to do picture-in-picture. And since I've had YouTube Premium, I can't test this, and I'm sure you do too. But apparently in 14.0.1, Apple has reintroduced that ability in both in the browsers, so you could go to youtube.com and get picture-in-picture whether you're a paid subscriber or not. And I think, and this is what I can't test, but I think it also might do that in the app. Now, and maybe that's YouTube relenting. But in any event,
I'll have to check if it's in the app. I don't
you pay?
use you. Yeah, no. I don't use YouTube enough to have YouTube Premium.
Okay,
so I'll
good.
have
So
to check
I'm going to leave
app.
it to you to check that.
Yeah. So that was going to be or I was wondering if you had checked that out.
I can't because I'd have to. Well, I guess I could sign out. But I don't want to do that.
I'll give it a try just to see, because I know now folks are happy that YouTube
at least you
on
can
the
do it in the browser. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that just has been so annoying.
Yeah,
I have I've been learning crocheting and knitting, and I then in those cases do use YouTube for the video tutorials when I need them.
Sure.
And not being able to stay or not having the ability to leave that screen is really annoying.
Right.
Another thing that has happened, another addition that has happened, and we talked a little bit about this, was app clips. And unfortunately, there's not a good way to show off app clips. Some apps have been updated to offer app clips, but because we're not out and about and don't have these special QR codes and things like that QR codes and NFC tags to do it, we can't. But I do want to mention it because a lot of apps have been updated. An app clip is essentially a small part of the app that can be downloaded temporarily onto your device to take advantage of some of the features that are in the app.
The example they give is, and this happens all the time, or it used to. I don't go out much anymore, but you go to a new town and you try to park, and they'd say, well, you can't put money in the meter. You use the app, and you don't have the app. So there's a QR code in the meter. Now you won't, and I've done this. Hold on, honey, I got to download the app. Okay, now I have to enter in a credit card. Okay, and 15 minutes later, I've paid for parking. The movie's over. But now with that QR code, you can quickly download a clip, pay, and move on. And that's really one of the best examples of this is for parking meter apps.
Yeah, I think so. And the apps for reward things, I can't think of what those are called right now, but the sort of, if you go to it, so Panera was the example that they gave. Oh,
yeah, sure. The loyalty rewards.
Yeah, loyalty, exactly.
Yeah.
There are different ways to do this. So NFC tags, QR codes, app clip codes, which is a special way that's done. It's an NFC tag and also a kind of a QR code. There's a Safari app banner that developers can use. They can include a link in the messages. They can place cards in maps, which is very cool. So it says when your app clip is associated with a specific location, you can register your app clip to appear on a place card in maps so users can open it from there. This works with 8-hour notifications as well. So it's a special type of notification where within 8 hours of a user launching the app clip, you can use notifications with them. It has special location verification. And it also, I think one of the biggest things about this that is very cool is that Apple has made it so it's very easy to integrate with Apple Pay and sign in with Apple. So you don't have to do a whole bunch of extra work. If you want to create an app clip that gets the user logged in and lets them make a payment quickly, those things, you just kind of add those buttons, those integrations to make it happen fast. So yeah, I'm going to keep an eye out for that because I want to see if it's possible for me to basically, I've got NFC tags aplenty all around. And if I can sort of create one for the purpose of testing it out, then I'll be able to show how app clips work because I am curious about that, given how many different apps have added.
It's so funny that Apple released a feature that few of us have had an opportunity to test because we never get out.
Yeah, exactly. That and the bands, these, single length bands are both sort of get out and about. The only reason why I have one that fits me now is because I had to take a trip to the Apple store the other day.
Yes.
And
by the way, we should say hello to everybody in the Apple Store Santa Rosa.
Yes.
Yay.
Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you for helping my friend, Mikah. You got a new 16-inch MacBook Pro.
I do. And everybody there was very helpful. They were watching iOS today throughout the day.
They recognized you, right?
Yeah.
That's so
I
great.
felt it was very strange because I'm not used to that. So I was ready to show all this type of identification and stuff. And
we know
who you are.
We know you, Mikah. Yeah, that's
so
nice.
Sweet.
That's
and they
really
helped
nice.
me. Yeah, like I said, I had that watch band, the woven or the braided band. It did not fit. And so I was going to return it regardless, but I was able to return it there at the Apple Store, and they brought me a size. So I got a size 6, thinking I needed a 6. They brought me a size 5. It was still too big. So size 4 is officially my size.
Yeah.
And they had.
You have to go in this child section, really, to get close.
Yeah, exactly. I needed to go to my wrists are tiny. So they didn't have any green ones, unfortunately, but I more wanted to be able to try this new band than I wanted to have a green one. So I just got the black one that they had available.
Nice.
I think, unless you've got any more apps that you want to talk about, that pretty much covers it. We're, of course, going to continue to keep our eyes out for different apps that have these new features. And I know that we've got the app cap to talk about apps that especially stand out in this space. But I don't know. I just want to give major props to all the developers who have created apps that take advantage of these new features quite quickly. And there are a few. I'm curious, actually, let me ask you this. Is there an app that is still one you are waiting to have a widget for or widgets for?
Oh, that's a good question.
I can tell you mine while you think about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mine is Deliveries. So Deliveries is the app that I use
good.
as a package tracker.
Yeah.
And Deliveries just came out with a new version of the app that has a bunch of awesome new features. Widgets are not yet a part of that, but yeah, a widget would be so nice to have.
I'm just thinking, it generally would be something that you would either have an informational display or you'd get a notification, but you don't want to have to wait for the push notification. So I'm trying to think of what I use. The journal program I highly recommend, Day One, has some really nice widgets, including a prompt widget that kind of every day changes if you're having trouble keeping a journal. Let me just tell you what the prompt is. And you can see today's prompt: in what ways are you good at your job? And I would say for you, it's wearing funny hats. So
thank you.
Yeah. So it's nice to get those prompts as a widget, because then you go, it's on your screen, and it makes you maybe more likely to journal. So I'm glad that's there. I guess there's one, I'm playing chess on chess.com and Lichess. I would love it if I could get the position of my current game position as a widget and as part of the notification of there's an update, because I like to check back on that. That's, I imagine that's, a low priority for those games, because most people are playing speed chess on these websites, which means, you don't leave the app until the game is over. You have 5 minutes to play the game. I like to play, though, you have a day or two to move. So that would be a nice little widget, but that's a pretty specialized thing. It'd be really cool.
What's that?
Is if you could, one of the reasons I like RSS, you subscribe to a blog, and one of the reasons I like that is RSS will let you know if there's a new post. I would love it if I could have, and maybe this would be something an RSS reader would do, a dedicated widget to one feed that just showed if there was a new post or what the most recent post was. Would be kind of cool. I use InnoReader. I don't think that InnoReader yet has any widgets at all. But that would be maybe something I would like. That's what I'm thinking is things that you want to be reminded of, or that you want to keep track of. Weather's a perfect example. I don't see any RSS reader that I own anyway yet having that feature, but that would be a nice feature.
That would be kind of nice. Yeah.
I follow
like
John Gruber's Daring Fireball, and I would like to have the widget show when there's a new post, and see the post, the headline at least, maybe a snippet from it. So,
yeah, I think that's good.
Should we take a break before we get to the news? Because frankly, we've buried the lead, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody. So
spoilers.
Hang in there. The lead is still to come. Our show today brought to you by ExpressVPN. It is, I know something a lot of you are looking for at this time is I need a VPN. There's really three reasons one would choose a VPN. Of course, for security. It's less of a problem these days. We're not going to open Wi-Fi access points or hotels or cruise ships where we're on the same network as a lot of people. But that is a really good reason to have a VPN, to protect yourself on a network where strangers are lurking, because that stranger could always be a bad guy. The second reason people use it is for privacy, to obscure what they're doing, because internet service providers, mobile carriers, and others can sometimes track what you do and even sell that information to third parties. It's completely legal for them to do that, and I know many do. And no, incognito mode does nothing to hide where you're doing. That's another reason you might want to run a VPN. The third reason is maybe the most appropriate for these days of quarantining, which is I've run out of TV. I got nothing to watch. And if you had a good VPN, a VPN that had points of presence all over the world, something like, ExpressVPN with almost 100 countries you can use, then you could, for instance, fire up Netflix, fire up ExpressVPN, say, today I want to be in London, refresh Netflix, and suddenly you can see all the Netflix shows that are part of Netflix UK, including all the Doctor Who's you could ever want. Now that is, that you could watch for years. That's nice. The problem is most VPNs are too slow to watch high-def video, not ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN is so fast, I often leave it running. I forget. I leave it running. You could put it on your router so it protects your whole house. You put it on your iPad, your Android device, your Mac, your PC. ExpressVPN works everywhere you are, even on your smart TV. So you can use it to give yourself new geographic locations. So if this is a third reason, I think is a really good reason, but it's not going to work with most VPNs because they're slow, not ExpressVPN. And I think that really ties back to the fact that ExpressVPN it invests in their networks so that they really have high speed. And that's what you're looking for. You don't want a VPN provider that's going to put 100 people on that same server. It's just not going to be fast enough. ExpressVPN, it does so many. They do so many things to make sure it's fast and private. That's the other thing. You really want to, if you're using a VPN for security or privacy, you really don't want, you're just giving the privacy and security issues to them. You're kicking the can down the road. You really want a VPN provider that you can trust, and that is ExpressVPN. ExpressVPN uses this cool trusted server technology, which means everything you're doing is running out of memory, and it can't write to the hard disk, so there's no way anybody could save it, and that's been audited as well. That's their trusted server technique. So I just really think ExpressVPN is great. Somebody in our chat room, TTL Now, says ExpressVPN works perfectly as advertised, long-term user, thanks to Leo. That's awesome.
Nice. Thank you.
Completely unsolicited endorsement there from one of our chatters. ExpressVPN. We got a deal for you. Look, the best VPNs aren't free because for all those reasons, you don't want them to be incented to sell your information or to be slow. But ExpressVPN, I think, is a very fair price. Less than $7 a month. Take it. It's #1 rated by CNET and Wired, and of course, Mikah and me. Take advantage of our special link, expressvpn.com/iOS today, and you get 3 extra months for free when you get a 1-year package, and that brings it down to below $7 a month. That's worth it. Really is, for the security, for the privacy, and for all those Doctor Who episodes. expressvpn.com/iOS today. Please use that address so that they know you saw it here. We appreciate it. They're really great company, and they love working with us, and we love working with them. expressvpn.com/iOS today. All right. We've been sitting here, sitting on our hands, because, I knew yesterday that if Apple was going to have an iPhone 12 event, that it would be very likely that they would let us know today. They typically, in quarantine, they let you know a week ahead of time. You don't have to make a flight or anything, but still give you a little heads up. So I've been scanning the wires. Any invitations yet?
Dun, 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 dun. As of this morning, Apple has invited. I'm just kidding. Yes, there is an Apple event on October 13th at 10 a.m. Pacific. Leo and I will be covering it live on this coming Tuesday. The event is called High Speed. That is high, speed.
Oh, that's funny. That's a little play on words.
A little funny ha-ha there.
And we know this will be a 5G iPhone, we think, anyway. So it would make sense that that would be speed, all about speed. iPhones. Oh, yeah.
So apparently this is according to the Bloomberg report, the company plans to reveal 4 redesigned iPhones with 5G wireless capability, upgraded cameras, faster processors, and a wider range of screen sizes. This, of course, is the second hardware event this year. We just got the new Apple Watches, the iPad Air, and the iPad. So we knew that this was going to be coming, if, like you said, this year, a little bit later, due to a delay in production.
They had warned us in their quarterly analyst call last quarter. They said, we're a little delayed, we're a little slowed because of COVID. What they didn't say is, and I think this is one of the rumors, they've done this in the past, there may be a delay on some of the models, right? You may be, they may announce a model Tuesday that you can get. Typically, you'd be able to pre-order like, what is it, the next day or Friday, and it would come.
I think it's usually like Friday,
It would come the following Friday. It may be that they will have some models that you can do that with, but that some models you can't do that with. We just don't know yet. So, yeah,
and I can remember that happening when, I think it was it the 4G where they ended up coming out with a white version, and the white version was super delayed due to
they have
paint
trouble with
issues at the time.
they have trouble with the color.
Yeah, and we're looking at, according to the different reports, along with your typical screen sizes, there will be again, report, 5.4-inch model and a 6.7-inch model. And instead of the design that we're used to with the sort of rounded bezels, the rumors all suggest we'll be getting an iPad Pro style bezel that's more squared off on the edges.
Yeah, and we've seen pictures, and it's hard to tell whether they're just, mock-ups or real.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, just any Apple rumor you hear, take it with a grain of salt. The rumor,
huge grain of salt.
Rumor mills have been more accurate than in the past, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of the big thing, I think. And we also, when it comes to hardware rumors versus software rumors, the hardware rumors tend to all, as time goes on, they tend to kind of all glom together and shape the actual hardware, versus software rumors where any of that stuff can change on a dime. You can't do that as much with hardware. So they start to collect. It's sort of paint by numbers, maybe is not the right representation, but essentially it starts to unblur itself as time goes on, and they get more and more of these little bits and pieces of the hardware to sort of piece together what the device is going to be. So apparently we'll see definitely the introduction of that third camera module. It's not a camera actually, but a LiDAR scanner. And yes, I think that the camera is always an improvement and an update in every new iPhone model, but the big thing is just that we're going to have more screen sizes than usual.
You didn't ask your new friends at the Apple Store whether they knew anything?
I should have. Why didn't I think of that? But I love this, and I know you're going to do it on MacBreak Weekly. But anything you want to read from the event artwork? We've got basically a bunch of concentric circles
like a
or
radio,
bubbles.
Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I have no idea. Oh, yeah, I guess it could be 5G radio waves.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sort of concentric circle.
I can't really tell.
Yeah, I don't think that the event artwork for the September event actually ended up being anything from what the actual that artwork does not relate at all to what was announced, in my opinion.
Yeah. I think this was a fool's errand that we have indulged in far too many years. We can stop trying to read the tea leaves on the Apple announcements.
It's only fair.
In fact, Rene Ritchie was talking about this a couple of weeks ago. He says, they don't tell marketing ahead of time. These guys, they don't know nothing. They just make, the designers, marketing does, but the designers aren't told, because that would be, a leak.
Right.
So, I don't.
Interesting.
I wouldn't worry about it too much.
So along with this event, think about what happened at the last event. Apple did announce hardware, but they also announced a bunch of new stuff, including Apple One, which is Apple's subscription service, Apple Fitness Plus, and some of the other services. So there is, the thought that we may see more than just the introduction of the iPhone at this event. I am becoming more hesitant about believing that we might see Mac hardware at this event, and that instead it will just be something that's announced not at an event. But I don't know. We'll put that away. What I want to say is that just as this event was announced, Bloomberg also put out another report talking about Apple's online stores. Apple has ceased selling rival earphones and speakers. So instead of selling products from Sonos, Bose, Logitech, and others, those products are no longer being sold on the company's online store, which it has done up to this point. That is because of why that is happening is unknown, but the speculation is that Apple is continuing to work on its own audio stuff and will be introducing a new pair of headphones that will be Apple branded as opposed to Beats branded. So,
yeah, that makes sense. If you're the third-party headphone manufacturers, you're probably not too happy about this. I'm sure they get a lot of sales at the Apple store, but if Apple's got their own house brand, Yeah, not too surprising. By the way, I've been a little distracted because I was desperately searching through my email trying to find an invitation to this Apple event. And, I got an invitation last time, but it was kind of one of those where I think they made a mistake. So I was feeling pretty bad. But you know what? I just got one. It's not like I got one today, an hour ago. Yeah. So it's not like, it's not like I'm going to go there, and it's not like they're really inviting me to do anything but watch a stream. But it's the little things, Apple.
It is. Yeah. You know what? I'm happy for you, Leo.
Finally back in the club. Okay. Actually, in all seriousness, yesterday was the anniversary of Steve's passing. I think it was the 9th anniversary of Steve Jobs' passing, and it was he who hated me. So maybe 9 years later, we can all just, honor Steve and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not honor him too much. Not honor that part of him that hated me.
Right.
But everything else he did. I'm very grateful to Steve Jobs because he really. A lot of what we enjoy today was created by Steve. The iPhone, the iPad. I think even the Apple Watch. That was kind of Johnny Ive and Steve Jobs' last contribution to Apple. Yeah. So 9 years. 9 years without Steve. And this is another thing I guess we should probably point out is at the time, I and many others were worried that Apple would, lose its mojo without Steve. Turns out Steve Jobs knew what he did when he selected Tim Cook to be his replacement, because Tim has been an excellent steward, not just repeating what Steve did. In fact, that was one of the last things Steve Jobs told Tim Cook is, be yourself, don't be me. Mm-hmm. And I think Tim's done it, and done it quite successfully. So we're pretty happy about all that.
One last
did you see Tim?
Here.
I should show Tim's tweet.
Oh yeah, do show Tim's tweet. Yeah. While you're looking for that, this is a quick thing. So for the longest time, the emoji for the person wearing a face mask has kind of looked sad, and the person is ill.
Yeah.
But it's been updated so that the person
Apple.
is happy instead.
Yes. Yes, be happy
to wear face masks.
That you can wear a face mask. Because you're protecting the people
because you're still alive.
And you're still alive, right? Don't bury me in my face mask, though, man.
You got it.
Let me. What is?
I think it's Tim Apple. No, I'm kidding.
It should be Tim Apple. I think it's Tim _ I'm thinking, yeah,
might be
Tim _ and this is his. Boy, that's a moving tweet. A great soul, he writes, never dies. It brings us together again and again. A quote from Maya Angelou. You're always with us, Steve. Your memory connects and inspires us every day. I'm going to cry all over again. So beautiful, beautiful quote from Tim Cook to honor Steve Jobs on the 9th anniversary of his death yesterday. Let's move on.
Yes.
I've had too many very emotional moments in this segment.
It could also be that there's some dust in the air that's getting in your eye.
If I only had a molecule. Oh, I do. Thank you, molecule. Oh, we've never needed our molecules more. Between COVID and the wildfires, the air we breathe has been terrible. If you're in a sealed office, how bad it can get. They call them the sick offices, and you can't open windows, but you can get a molecule. Indoor air can be up to 5 times more polluted than outdoor air, according to the EPA, and that's why a molecule is it's more than an air purifier. It's really a pollution remover. Not just an innovation on existing technology. It's not just a filter. It's a scientific breakthrough in air purification called PAKO, P-E-C-O, photoelectrochemical oxidation. And it's a really clever technology. What it does is it actually traps and then destroys harmful pollutants in the air. Molecules that are very, very small, like viruses, bacteria, mold, volatile organic compounds, chemicals in the air like formaldehyde. And instead of just collecting them on a filter, sometimes things like formaldehyde just go right through the filter. Molecules, air purifiers, trap them and destroy them with light. It's designed to help protect homes, businesses, and medical spaces. And in fact, their new molecule RX, the Air Pro RX, is FDA cleared for medical purposes because it destroys bacteria and viruses in the air. So you'll see molecules in dental offices and medical facilities because it is so useful in getting rid of, viruses in the air. Molecule air purifiers come in a variety of sizes for rooms up to 600 square feet. There's a Molecule Air Mini for things like your bedroom. We have one in our bedroom at home. Actually, Michael has one in the bedroom at home as well. The Air Mini is for rooms up to 250 square feet. There's the Air Mini Plus, has a particle sensor and an auto protect mode. I actually really like that because it runs in auto mode. It's very, very quiet. But I always know, it's even little things like when we have bacon and the bacon smoke gets in the air, the molecule goes and ramps up, cleans out the air. Bacon smell's gone in a matter of minutes, and then it goes. So I even know that it's working just because of that. With many of us spending more time at home, this is one of the reasons we're so all in on the molecules. Lisa works at home. Michael's going to school at home, and it's so important that clean indoor air is the baseline because they're in there all the time. Molecule's PAKO technology meets the performance requirements in the FDA guidance for reducing the risk of exposure to COVID-19, the SARS-CoV-2 virus in healthcare settings. That should reassure you a little bit too. We're more and more learning with COVID-19 that it's airborne. And having something that can take the air, purify it, and recycle it rapidly is so important. We know poorly ventilated spaces are the problem. In fact, they've tested the molecule. You can go to their research page at the website with something called MS2, which is a proxy virus. You don't want to use real COVID, obviously, in these tests. Within an hour, 99.9% removal of this proxy virus. 99.9% within an hour. That's what you need. Of course, you got to still wash your hands and social distance and wear a mask. I'm not saying not to do that, but you do want that extra layer of virus protection for your spaces. That's why we have them in the studio as well. Molecules technology and filtration systems have been tested and verified by independent third-party labs for the whole home and beyond. That's the PAKO technology. It really works. Pick the unit that's right for your size space. You can also put together a discounted bundle for your home, your office, your medical or dental practice, or your business. I want to protect our employees too. For 10% off your first air purifier order, visit molecule.com, MOLEKULE. And when you order, if you would do me a favor, use iOS as your offer code at checkout. Yes, you'll save 10%, but that's also a little signal to them. Yeah, you're listening. Molecule.com. The offer code is iOS. You owe it to yourself, your family, your employees, your customers. Molecule.com. Offer code is iOS. On we go with the show, Onward. And I think it's feedback time.
It is time for feedback. Michael writes in, I received my Series 6 watch on Friday.
Woohoo!
I've had every series since 1.
Me too.
This time, when I unpaired the Series 5 from my phone, it did not ask or even show to back it up. When I paired my new Series 6, I restored from a backup that was almost a year old.
Ooh.
When looking on the Apple support pages, they state that the watch makes backups in the background. I don't see that this has happened in the last 11 months.
Wow.
Any help is appreciated. Yes, Michael, this one is a complicated one for sure because of the way that frankly, because of the way that the backups work for the Apple Watch and how for most of the time they have been kind of an add-on to what the iPhone backs up. So when you go into your settings on your iPhone, you choose settings, you tap on your name at the top, you go to iCloud, you go down to iCloud Backup, and then you choose Backup Now. It should be backing up both your iPhone itself and the Apple Watch that you have paired with the iPhone. But if you're running into an issue where that's not happening, then you may have a bit of a pairing issue with the Apple Watch and the iPhone, which I used to have pretty frequently. And I'll explain that in a second, because there's one other troubleshooting thing that you should understand as well. It could also be that the version of watchOS that you have on your watch is different from the version of watchOS that came with the Series 6. So you need to make sure that the Series 5 Apple Watch that you had is for sure updated to the most recent version of watchOS. Then do the iCloud backup through that process that we talked about. And then you can pair your Series 6, and you should be able to take the backup from the Series 5 Apple Watch. Now, let's talk about if that main troubleshooting step doesn't work for you. The other thing that you should do is launch the Watch app, scroll down and choose General.
I'm doing this right now. Go ahead.
And then scroll down and choose Apple ID. And make sure that your Apple ID is indeed signed in here. This is the thing that I used to have an issue with my Series 4 Apple Watch, I believe it was. It would not always be signed in. And so I had to go in there and sign in. And upon doing so, that sort of but paired my Apple Watch together with my iPhone and made it so that I could not only just do iCloud backups properly, but also whenever I chose software update, it would actually work and show me the software updates. So again, we want to go into the Watch app, choose the watch that you're working with here, and choose General, choose Apple ID, and make sure, because that will load for a second, and you need to make sure that you're logged in with the same Apple ID that you were for the Series 5 watch and that your iPhone is using. So once all of those things are paired and sort of locked in, then we can go to settings. We can go to tap on our name, tap on iCloud, scroll down, choose iCloud backup, and then choose backup now. And then you can set up your Series 6 watch using the backup from the Series 5. So something along the way has caused your Apple Watch to become disillusioned.
Disassociated.
Disassociated.
Yes. Confused.
Yes, and so it was not wanting to do any new updates. That is my suspicion, because the only other thing that could be is that you were running a public beta on your Series 5, and your Series 6 is obviously not running a public beta. If it's brand new, you just got it. And so if the Series 5 was running the public beta, what you would want to do is go through that same process on your Series 6 to update it to the most recent version of the public beta. And what that will do is it will make it so that the most recent version of watchOS is available, and then it can pull from that backup. And then from there, you can update it to watchOS. What are we on? watchOS 7? You can update to watchOS 7, and it should be able to pull the most recent backup, because that's the only thing that I can think of that would make it go all the way to 11 months ago. Would be that that was the last time it was backed up before you had updated to a new version of iOS.
That's about right, yeah. And you can always set it up from scratch. I mean, honestly, it's not that big a deal to set it up from scratch, to be honest. I'm really loving the new watch. Are you?
Yes. So I just actually, in fact, twit.tv/HOT to check out my Series 6 Apple Watch review. It's so much brighter, which I love.
That's what I really like. The always on is really usable now.
Mm-hmm. I can actually see the time, which is nice. And overall, the battery just seems to be so really much better, which I really like.
A little thing that I like, I now get an iOS notification when my watch is done charging.
Oh, yeah. Isn't that nice?
Little thing? Yeah. And the reason that's important to me, especially maybe for you too, is if you are using it as a sleep monitor, the battery life is so good now, you don't have to charge it overnight. It charges up within an hour. So if you're using it overnight as a sleep monitor, you wake up, you put it on the charger, shower, brush your teeth, have breakfast, and then you'll get the notification that says, okay, I'm all charged up. And I just love that. It lets me know I can pull it off the charger and go.
Yeah, I think that's fantastic. And there's also now iOS 13 introduced this special battery mode for, and I do mean iOS 13, I mean the last version of iOS, introduced a special type of battery charging that is now available on the Apple Watch as well, and also on AirPods now that I think about it. And what it does is it charges, if you routinely, it starts to learn your charging habits. And if you routinely put your iPhone, your AirPods, and your Apple Watch, or any number of those, any, version of those things onto the charger overnight, what it does is it slow charges and just makes sure that by the time a certain hour comes around that is X amount of hours before you wake up, it will just slowly charge your battery. And then by the time you wake up, it will do that last bit of charging. So the idea is that instead of sort of pumping juice into it quickly and then having the battery just sit there full for the course of the night, it slowly charges it up to almost full and then does the last bit of pumping juice into it to be ready for you when you wake up. And that is due to the chemical process involved with batteries, is better on the battery than just, like I said, charging it up fully and letting it kind of sit there overnight. So I love that battery management is becoming
really
a built-in thing for not just the iPhone, but also Apple Watch and AirPods.
Yeah. Hey, I love her. I know we weren't going to engage in Kremlinology on the Apple invitation, but I love her in our chat room said, I see Apple tags.
Oh, boy.
Do you think those concentric circles aren't radio, but might in fact be Apple tags?
See, but I thought I saw that with the last one.
Yeah, that's true.
Or no, it was the music. I thought that the music would be that little music was going to be Apple tags.
You just can't tell. Yeah.
I'm not going to partake in. I'm not going to eat this clam chowder. I'm just going to quietly sit here and hope. But I really would like to see Apple tags so much.
Who put bacon in my clam chowder? I do think that if you're going to announce Apple tags, AirTags, whatever they call them, and we've been waiting for this for a year. We know their hardware, the U1 technology is built in even to the Apple Watch. We know they're kind of preparing for this. This would be the announcement because you want to. I don't think, for instance, they're going to announce Apple Silicon. They don't want to detract from the iPhone, but the AirTags are in fact an additional feature of the iPhone, the ability to aim it and say, oh. Yeah, there's where my stuff is, and the Apple Watch too. There's where my stuff is. So I feel like if they're going to announce it, if they don't announce AirTags a week from today, they ain't going to do it ever.
Yeah, you might be right about that.
They're never going to do it. Yeah, this is last chance. Or they're going down into the Air Power basement down there where never released Apple products are filed away right next to the TV.
Oh, my God, that television. The next question comes from Carol Haynes. Carol Haynes writes, my phone storage shows my health app is using 31.01 petabytes of storage.
31.01 petabytes? I don't think so.
Carol says, I'm pretty sure that isn't possible. Is this an iOS 14 glitch? Carol, I'm happy to say this is an iOS 14 glitch. The incredible, the inimitable, the very cool Scott Hanselman had the same exact problem. When I read your email, it reminded me of Scott Hanselman's tweet where he just wrote, that's ... a problem, and his health has 8.11 petabytes.
Okay.
There's a doctor that works for Apple Health, who is a pretty active Twitter user. And he responded to Scott Hanselman and says, are you carrying a prototype the company should be aware of?
Wow.
But no, it's just, this is a bug. Definitely a bug. So Carol, don't worry. There's not 31 petabytes of health storage on your iPhone because as far as I know, you don't have an iPhone that has 35 petabytes of storage space. All right.
My goodness gracious.
Our last question comes from Lieutenant Dan. You may remember Lieutenant Dan, who wrote in about his wife's iPhone 8 geotag issues.
Or from the fine movie Forrest Gump. Either way.
Could be also that.
Yes.
All right. Ready for this?
Yes.
I downloaded the Metafo app on her phone. Works just fine. Good app, by the way. She is still having geotag issues. Turns out the geotag just works when it wants. Listen to this. And that's not editorializing. That's what Lieutenant Dan said. She took photos and videos at our house. All photos and videos had the correct geotag information. We went to my brother-in-law for brunch. She took photos and videos. Her phone was not connected to his Wi-Fi. She took photos and videos. One of the two videos did have the geotag information, but the photos did not. Went home, connected to our Wi-Fi, and still only the video had the geotag info. We then went into the city and took a photo and video. Still no geotag info. Went to a cafe, connected to the internet, checked the photos, and still no geotag info.
Still
went home, connected
no
to our
geotag.
Wi-Fi, still no geotag.
Still.
So,
Yes.
the Lieutenant Dan suspects, and it is the only supposition that I can have as well. And this is, again, Lieutenant Dan, I still think it has something to do with her lack of updating her phone. She's not accepted the last 2 updates and never updates any of her apps. Since her phone will be 4 years old and has all of these issues, it's time she gets a new phone. Waiting to see if the iPhone 12, coming soon, is worth the cost. Really hope it comes with a 2 terabyte hard drive as she fills up her phone constantly. Lieutenant Dan, may I recommend iCloud storage, which will cost you a lot less than a 2 terabyte iPhone will, and can store the full versions of those different photos up in the cloud instead of having them stored locally on your wife's iPhone. But yes, as far as this, some things are geotagged, some things are not, dealio goes, I think that it's just that, yeah, it's time to update Lieutenant Dan's wife. There's got to be some bug that existed in that version of iOS, maybe specifically for the iPhone 8, maybe specifically for that version of the iOS that there's every reason why that could not be the thing. And honestly, the second troubleshooting step I give after turn it off and on again is make sure you're running the most recent version of iOS. So I can't really help outside of that because I need those things to happen first before we can start getting to more specific troubleshooting steps. So if you have to,
this happens to me too. This is a hard thing. When an iPhone or an Apple Watch doesn't do the thing it's supposed to do, there's no setting. It's really hard to figure out why not. And this happens. It's not unusual. And it's hard to know what does her GPS still work? Maybe there's something wrong with location settings. It's just weird when that happens.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, this is the perfect time to have a little bit of tech therapy before we get to our app caps. I have to tell you, I've kind of been examining my whole deal lately.
Look at your deal. Examine your deal, Sargent.
When it comes
What's
to technology.
Your deal? Yes.
Because, I've had a number of technology issues in the past couple of months. The internet issue that I had at the beginning,
yes.
USB-C issue with my MacBook Pro, which finally got corrected.
By buying a new $4,000 MacBook Pro, but okay, yeah.
New sound interface issues. And
that were related, as it turns out, I think, to the laptop.
Yeah, we definitely think that was it. And when I got my new MacBook Pro that I brought home first, it wouldn't turn on because it had a bad battery.
Oh, yeah, caramba.
Yeah, and so I ended up having to go back and get a new one. And here's what I realized about myself.
What you thinking?
Firstly, as a person who understands technology and understands how to use it and how to troubleshoot it, of course it's incredibly frustrating when everything that you do doesn't, everything that you know how to do doesn't solve the issue. But it goes farther than this, or further than this, because of my imposter syndrome.
You think it's you?
I know a lot of us have. It's not necessarily that I think it's me. And this is where I think there's a little bit of narcissism built in too that I have to examine, is that I worry that other people will think it's me. Where I don't want anyone to...
I do, by the way. I judge you.
Thank you. I worry that someone is going to be like, oh, this is clearly he just doesn't know how to do blank.
No one's going to do that. Anybody who has any experience at all in the world, if you've used technology for any length of time, the only people who would believe that are people who haven't used technology for very long and think it works. It doesn't work. What are you, crazy?
Exactly. And
you know what the motto of my old TV show, Call for Help, was? It's not your fault. Just remember.
I think it's a really good. I think that's a really good thing.
It's not your fault. It's the computer industry's fault. Blame those sons of guns.
You sons of guns. That's why when folks had, reached out with different ways to help, I noticed myself getting a little defensive, saying, I tried that. And it was kind of causing a little bit of anxiety for me. And it took me a minute to step back and go, they're just trying to help. They are not thinking that you don't know to do
That's really
things.
important.
You know what I mean?
That's really, I want to make that note, because when you ask me, and people call the radio show, for instance, and ask me for suggestions, I'm going to run through, I have to. By the way, when you call tech support at Apple, they're going to have to run through all the solutions, starting at the very basic ones, which obviously you've done. But they have to ask, because you know what? There's people in the world who go, oh, I never thought of plugging it in. So that's why we go through those. It's not a judgment on you.
Yep.
It's so we can get to the more difficult problems.
Yeah, and sometimes those of us who are, who do know what to do will sometimes skip those simple steps and think that it's a more complicated thing. And having someone else go, oh, did you try blank? And I go, how did I not think of that? Duh. And it ends up solving it. So yeah, I had a little bit of tech therapy over the weekend where I kind of examined it all and thought, okay, everything's fine.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, it's not your fault. Exactly. So Lieutenant Dan's wife, it's not your fault, but do update your iPhone, please.
Yeah.
All right. It's time for app caps.
The reason I haven't shown myself on the camera for a while is because I've been wearing this parrot hat for hours. You are now donning. Wow, that is quite the hat. At first, I thought it was a chef's hat, but now I realize it's an indeterminate animal hat. What is that?
It's supposed to be a banana, but I also think it doesn't look like a banana.
It's supposed to be a banana?
Yeah.
Well, now that you mention it, it's banana, but it's peeled in an unusual way. Just the top, half inch.
It's not pointy enough, Yeah. It should be more pointy on the end.
It looks like some sort of weird snail. But
I could give it eyes.
Then it would be a weird snail with eyes.
A weird snail, yeah.
Does mine look like any animal you recognize?
Yours definitely looks like a parrot, yes.
I'm just waiting for the chance to go to a Jimmy Buffett concert and wear this. I am a parrot. I'm a parrot head. Wait a minute, get those wings out.
The boys on the bed, shrinks.
Why do we do this to ourselves, Mikah Sargent?
I ask myself that every week, Leo.
What really is annoying is we have this dignified, intelligent conversation for an hour. We really talk about the heavy stuff. We help people. And then invariably, the thumbnail on the YouTube video is us wearing stupid hats.
Wearing stupid hats.
Yep.
One of my favorite things is when when they take little clips of this show and developers and people see it and it's out of context. Like, why are they wearing hats while they're talking about
that? What's that all about?
Oh, man. I love AppCap.
Actually, maybe that's why we do it, to discourage the applications we're talking about from using our show as an advertisement. Maybe that's why we do it.
It could be. No, we do this because we love these apps.
And we love our hats.
And we love our hats. And you combine the two, and it's AppCap. All right. I am talking about an app this week. I promised you at the beginning of the show.
Yes.
Apple's online library of watch bands and watch looks, that's LEWKS, is the most complicated and confusing system.
What are looks?
A look is it's a look, LOOK, but it's
so it's like a combination of the watch finish and the band makes a look.
Yes, but that is a more general term to refer to, say I am wearing a sport coat with a nice pocket square, and I've got my hair done.
That's a look.
It's a Luke. Yeah, it's just kind of.
I got it.
Yeah, you got a specific aesthetic going on.
Okay.
And so you could say to somebody, Leo, if they look particularly nice at a given day, you can say, "Ooh, I like your Luke."
I am learning so much from you.
While I'm wearing a banana on my head.
First the roof wickets and now Luke's. Okay, I'm excited. This is good. This is good.
I hope you listen to that song on your way home.
Yeah,
it's really good.
yeah.
Anyway, or between now and MacBreak. Anyway, so because it's so confusing, so hard to figure out how to do that, some developers came together right now over me and created an app called Bandbreite.
Bandbreite.
And that's Breite.
Breite. Bandbreite.
Oh, is it Breite?
Well, I don't know what it is. It just looks German. Ich bin Breite.
Bandbreite. Any hoodles. This app it has the entire library, so this would be a great app for Renee as well, of watch bands.
Oh, nice.
And it shows there are a total of 425 bands that have been released in total, and 83 of them are available this season. So you can scroll through the new looks, or Lukes, just by swiping to the left and to the right. But you can also add them to your specific collection, so you can kind of keep track of what bands you have.
It is German.
Hey, Richie could just say...
It is German. Breite means wide range. Yeah. It is the range of bands.
Oh,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Breite. And then you can add your wish list. So these are bands that you want to add soon. And it also has curated collections at the bottom. So you can see at the recent September event, these are all of the new bands that were introduced. The Red Sport Band, Ginger Sport Band, etc. So you can sort of kind of start to add them to, I really want to get that. So I need to add the braided Inverness Green band to my wish list, because that was the one I originally had, and I had to switch it out for charcoal, which was sad. But
they
then there's
have
the
green at the store?
No, they were all out. They only had pink and charcoal, and I went with charcoal because it was more neutral.
Didn't you tell them about Luke's?
I should have said, look,
you're ruining my Luke.
My Luke is ruined. And then from there, you can see sort of what's in your wish list, but also to get all of the detail. It's got so much metadata built in. So you can see a bigger version of the band. I think this is the one Renee got recently. It talks about like what the color is, what size it's for, when it was introduced, what its model number is, the different things that it fits, what it's made of, how much it costs, and then the description that pulls from the website. And then you can also add notes of your own if you want to for each of these. So you could say, oh, I don't wear this band because it doesn't work with my Luke, but I bought it for some reason, or I gave it away to my cousin's sister. And from there, then you can go through and see all of the different bands that are available and say, I've got this one and I don't have this one and I wish I had this one. And I think it's a great way versus the website, which is the most confusing and perplexing thing, to try and find what bands are available. Bandbreite makes it easy, and it's available for free, entirely free, in the App Store.
Nice. Now, you told me I have to always have a game.
Okay, that's not quite what I said, but
you told me the people like it
yes.
when Leo does a game, mostly because you don't do games, right?
So I don't do games, and you just really get into them, and it's fun.
I do, and I think you're going to actually like this game, even though it could be really frustrating. PAKO is a series of driving games, and this one came out this week that's really crazy and fun. It's called... By the way, I'm terrible at it. PAKO Caravan. Let me put this on the Apple TV. You won't see my fingers, but you will at least hear it and see the whole screen, because it's one of those vertical ones. I'm trying. The game is very hard.
Wait, what are the movement mechanisms?
The left and right with your fingers. Okay. I'm trying, but it's hard. I'm trying to, without running into any stationary vehicles. Ooh.
The inertia is really...
It's one of those games. You see, I'm going to pick that guy up. Whoa.
Wait, it's like futuristic Snake.
Yeah, it's Snake. It's exactly what it is. Whoa. Your goal is to pick up the cars that have little triangles over them and make a very long caravan without running into anything or running off the edge of the world. Oh! No. Okay, this is hard, but it sure is fun.
And now I see what you mean by frustrating.
Yeah, it is a little. But it's kind of comedic too, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Yeah. This is called PAKO Caravan.
Or Scribblet.
Oh gosh. As you can see, and by the way, it tells you as you do it what the maximum length you achieved was, the record number of cars you've achieved, and your rank. This is so embarrassing in the world, which as you can see is low. There's also achievements. So I'm trying to get a 25, 50, or 75, or 125, or 175 trailer caravan. I did knock over some cones. I'd like to knock over all the cones, collect all the letters, find the hidden secret. There's a lot to this game. If I could just get good at it. Now, it's free to play, but they have annoying ads. It's one of those annoying ad games. This would have been so much better in arcade, but for $3.99,
this feels like an arcade game.
It's the only thing. Yeah, it feels like an arcade game. The only thing you can turn off is the ads. There's nothing else to buy in the shop, which I kind of like that. I don't have to. I'm not tempted. You could see the leaderboards. There are people who are really good. Who's good at this, John? You? Mikah's doing it right now.
I am playing. I'm not very good at it.
How could you be so good at it? I'm not. I've been. Oh, watch the edge! Watch the edge! Oh, maybe it's easier on the iPhone.
I'm playing it on the iPad.
Oh, you are? Okay. Well, I don't know. There's no excuse. You see, you're getting the ads, and actually, as you play, you're going to get, one of those things where it stops and makes you watch an ad and all that. It's worth $3.99.
And then sometimes the X works, but sometimes the X pulls up a different ad.
Exactly. I hate that. Just, all those dark patterns. But $3.99. It is really fun. Don't you think? It's kind of comedic.
Yeah, this is hilarious. And that music, or the sound, not so much the music, but the sound is great. What do these numbers mean? Oh, no!
Oh, look, you're taking all of those poor people off the edge with you. Look at that. That's a worse caravan. Oh, my God. You got a lot of people, though. Look how big your caravan was.
Holy cow.
You had 43 cars in your caravan.
I was ranked 23,000.
I have a feeling this is a game that young people are really good at or something. Or maybe if you just play enough of it, you'll get good at it. Anyway, it's fun, isn't it? And it's very funny. It's one of those games where, like Steppy, where even though it's hard and you're terrible at it, it's hysterical kind of thing. Right? You can't help but giggle as you're playing.
Exactly. You're like, oh no, I followed off.
PAKO Caravan. And if you like it, there's a whole series of PAKO games. Very popular, actually. But Caravan is one of those kind of just silly fun games. And Blue Lemon in our chat room said, just installed it. I suck. And that's really kind of the universal reaction to this. We
all suck, yeah.
It is your fault in this case.
Yeah.
That's it for iOS Today.
Today.
We do the show 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern Time, 1600 UTC. Although that's only for the next few weeks because we're gonna get out of daylight saving time and go back to standard time, and that'll change everything.
And next week we'll be doing the show earlier than normal as well.
Oh, let's not forget to remind people. Yeah, we'll probably start at 8 a.m. Pacific, which is 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Which is 1500 UTC. And that's because right after the show tomorrow, next week, there'll be that fantastic iPhone event that we're very excited about. You're going to stick around. We'll do that at 10 a.m. Pacific. And then at 11 a.m. Pacific, we'll be back on schedule if Apple only goes an hour, which I suspect they will, for MacBreak Weekly and Security Now. It's a big day, Tuesdays. On the TWiT network, because then there's all about Android after that. So it's there's a lot of content on Tuesdays. Mikah Sargent, you'll find him on Tech News Weekly every Thursday. You'll find him on Smart Tech Today every Monday, and you'll find him here every Tuesday doing iOS today. If you are interested in watching us do the show live, we do stream our live productions for whatever reason, so you can see all the screw-ups. You can go to twit.tv/live. There's live audio and video there. You can also get on-demand versions of the show from the website, twit.tv/iOS. On YouTube, there's an iOS Today channel with all of the shows. You can subscribe to that. Mash the bell, as they say, and you'll get reminded. But I think the best way to do this, so it's kind of automatic, you don't even have to think about it, is just find a podcast application, Apple Podcasts or Pocket Casts or Overcast. Roof Wizard, my favorite new band, and subscribe, and that way you'll get it the minute it's available of a Tuesday afternoon.
Yes. If you've got questions, you can email those to us, iOS Today at twit.tv, audio, video, text. If it's audio or video, try to keep it under 30 seconds. Otherwise, we'll do some editing on it. But yeah, we love your questions. We love the feedback and want to help you troubleshoot. As Leo says, it's not your fault.
You know, as I remember, parrots love bananas.
I always go the wrong way, darn it.
Polly, what a parrot head.
Oh my goodness.
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time on iOS Today. Bye-bye.
I'm Jason Howell, host of Tech News Weekly here on twit.tv, along with my co-host, Mikah Sargent. Each and every week, we talk to people who are making and breaking the tech news. It could be journalists writing amazing tech stories. It could be experts. It could be the sources of the stories themselves, developers, you name it. We bring them onto the show, and we talk to them about why their story is resonating with the world. You can watch and subscribe by going to twit.tv/TNW. Make sure you do that, and you won't miss a single episode. We'll see you there.